Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Classified Reviews. My name is David T. Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave 817. If you would like to see more of this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. I am David Allen, or if you like, Super Dave. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today in the chat. We have, let's see, right out of the gate, Clint Jorgensen. Hey, David, you may have said this before, but when is the Joe Fest website updated to show all guests and vendors for this June's show? It should be updated. Final update should be sometime in May with all the guests announced. Clint Jorgensen. And then we have Mike Gould. All right. Thanks for joining us. Good morning. We have Gunpowder Nitro. What's going on, you hooligans? Not much. Just talking about 179 of the classified line wetsuit. Yay! Finally, 179. Wetsuit is a great figure. Thank you very much, Mike Gould. Good morning, Ultra Mensch. Thanks for joining us. 610 Yojo Daddy. What's up, Super Dave? Long time, bud. 610 Yojo Daddy. Chris, everybody saying hello. Good morning, Super Dave, and everyone in the chat. Steve Martin. Thank you, Steve Martin. Thank you for joining us. Everybody saying hello to everybody in the chat. As I was saying, we are now up to 179, and we have made it all the ways to Wetsuit, and he looks really, really cool. I saw a few other people do reviews on him, and I wasn't sure what he was gonna really be like, because he looked like he had a larger buck from the videos that I had seen, the reviews that I'd seen last year for him and stuff like that. So I was looking forward to getting to him, and he finishes off that uh, quartet of the European, the Mission Brazil team, and I've been waiting for that for a while, for 2 or 3 years, to get all those guys. Let's see. LOL. Hello, all. Can't stay, unfortunately, at work. Have a good show. Thank you, LOL. That's fine. That's fine. No problem. Gunpowder Nitro. This is going to be better than the Empath video I was watching. Empath. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. So everybody's saying hello. Bajorn says hello. And that's it so far. So it's going to be interesting to see how he stacks up against the ketchup and mustard divers, the torpedo, and so forth. And there are a lot of other divers. So this is like our fourth diver, I think, and then we have a fifth diver coming with the Hydra Viper, and possibly we might get some other stuff with a HasLab possibly in the future. You never know. So there might be other divers down the road. I really would like to get more Joe divers, to be honest. Good morning, Super Dave. How is the chat today? 610 Gunpowder Ultra. I'm sure it's doing pretty good. I'm sure everybody's doing good. They're all here, very enthusiastic. They put their smiles on this morning, even though it's a little early. I loved Wetsuit as a kid. Yeah, he had a really cool accent, and him and Leatherneck were brothers, and they would always fight, and it was really funny. And he was a cool character. So there you go. I think that's everything. So we're going to get into him. First, we got to go to a little bit of his history. It says, working on a very successful toy hunt video that I will be uploading after Dave T. Allen and his killer wetsuit figure racked up on Walmart clearance that finally dropped. Finally! Good job. Good luck to you on that. I hope it all works out. I look forward to watching that. Navy versus Marines. There you go. Yeah, that's what it really is. So I would like to get some other characters in as divers. We're going to talk about that in a little while after we go over his history. First, we're going to do that, and then when we're finished, we'll talk about other characters and other versions of characters that could have diving versions. So first, we're going to go into creating G.I. Joe, a real American hero, Volume 11 by Dan Klingsmith Jr. Thank you on that. So Wetsuit, beautiful piece of artwork there, showcasing him in the water and with his equipment. It looks absolutely beautiful in person. That's a very beautiful piece of artwork. It says here, Wetsuit, alternate names, Gator, Hammerhead, or Soggy. I'm glad they didn't go with any of those. Maybe Gator would have worked, but Hammerhead, they did a vehicle called the Hammerhead. Soggy, maybe if he had like a, that was his side companion or sidekick, animal companion or something, you could call him Soggy, but I don't think that's a good G.I. Joe name, to be honest. Year release, 1986, designed by Ron Rudat. Again, Ron Rudat designed most figures from 82 to 87, with the exception of a handful of vehicle drivers and a couple odds and end things. And then Mark Pennington took over designs in 87 after that to 89. Designed to be an underwater demolitions expert, Ron shared that he gave Wetsuit a weighted belt and harness to help hold his oxygen tank on his back. Ron gave him a diver propulsion vehicle and searchlight to help seek out Cobra ships and destroy them. And see, you can see on the renders there, those ideations, the equipment ideations and the diving ideations there, and a turnaround of him there, and his figure down on the bottom there on the corner with this artwork. Dude Stuff's in the house. Hello. Shipwreck in a diving suit would be nice. Yes, he would. How's it going? Will those books be collected in hardcovers? I've been talking to Dan about that. That's a good thing, because there's a lot of characters that he didn't get. He didn't have materials for certain characters in the series. So it does not cover every single character or every single vehicle in the G.I. Joe 82 to 94 line vintage collection. He has then since gotten some of those and more artwork on older character designs and histories, and he wants to add more to those. So because he's gotten additional materials and additional characters, stuff that wasn't in the book, he's talking about maybe about 6 or 7 years for the Real American Heroes 50th anniversary to probably do a hardcover book similar to what Carson did, because Carson did these Collecting the Art of G.I. Joe books. He did them in 6 volumes first, and then he collected them into the huge omnibus that came out last year. So we've been talking with Dan about doing that and trying to help him compile all that stuff and do them in order, year by year by year by year by year, and then add all that extra material and add the material that was never in there before. So that is something that he is going to work on. It's gonna be a slow burn. It's going to be 6 or 7 years till the 50th anniversary, which is 2032. So we're in 2026 now. So you got 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 6 more years. So that's going to take a long time for him to work on that and get that to a point where he can do it. And he's not sure how he's going to do it, if he's going to do an omnibus similar to what Carson did, because he's got a lot more material. Remember, he's got 15 volumes and he's got a ton of unproduced content in these as well. So he doesn't know how he's going to do that. If he's just going to do all the actual stuff that was released and leave out the unproduced concepts and stuff like that. So there's a lot of questions, and he's working on it. But in the future, we may get that. Bajorn. So you'll have an opportunity to get those, okay? I couldn't ever find Torpedo as a kid, so Wetsuit was my first diver with such great accessories, and our pool put him in the same year I got him. So much fun in the pool hunting eels. Yeah, that's fun. I love swimming. When I was a kid, I was on a swim team, and I was very proficient, and I played with a lot of my swimming characters in boats in the water as well. 610 Yojo Daddy. Hello, Clement. Good morning. Thanks for joining us today. 6 years. We can all be dead. It's true. It's true. But, it just doesn't make sense to just do a hardback and do all that work and all that stuff if there's not a good reason to do it and a good timing to do it. And it feels like the 50th anniversary is the right time to do it for Dan. By the time I got into action figures 5 years ago, the 1989 wave, none of the really popular figures were out. Dude stuff. Okay. LOL. Out. I gotcha. All the three. Gotcha. Of the three. All the waves are early mode 2 was still out, though. Okay. Clement. I meant 5 years old. That's fine. I understood what you were talking about. So then it says here, the last sentence of the first paragraph of the dossier originally stated he's obstreperous, belligerent, and is totally devoid of social graces. He's simply the best at what he does, sneaking up on things and blowing them up. There was also a note stating that the alternate name Hammerhead was not to be used if Beachhead was cleared for Ranger. So because they used Beachhead's name, they did not want to use Hammerhead, I guess. So that's why they went with Wetsuit. And I guess obstreperous belligerent means that you don't have tact. You can just say whatever comes to your mind and just communicate. So that's interesting that they added that to the file card. So there he is again. There's that beautiful artwork. So we're going to move on from there. Now we're going to do Carson's series of books, and that is Collecting the Art of G.I. Joe, Volume 3, 1986 and 1987, by R. Carson Metaxas and 3D Joes. And we're going to show the vintage package for Wetsuit. And he had one of the weirdest packages because it showed him almost upside down, kind of swimming in the water. And I always thought that was a funny package. And he looked really neat in that. And you can see all the gear and equipment that he came with. So there you go. He's a seal there. That original dossier sounds like a repeat of Deep Six. I remember him being that way in the comics. Yeah, he was. You're right about that. He wasn't in the Sunbow anime. He was a lot more talkative in the Sunbow anime. But the comics, he barely said anything. And he was kind of rude when he did talk. You're right about that, 610 Yojo Daddy. That's a good catch. I gave Steamroller's knife to my Wetsuit to fight my eels under the water. Hey, that's pretty cool. That's the fun thing about G.I. Joe. You can play however you want. Whatever fits your play pattern, your story in your head, that's perfectly fine. So nothing wrong with that, Bajorn. So then we have one of the most famous G.I. Joe covers. Wetsuit's first appearance is issue 47 of A Real American Hero from the 80s by Larry Hama and Marvel Comics. They were doing advertisements for the G.I. Joe comic in the 80s. The very first issue got an ad, and it did very well for them, and it made people come and buy the toys. So then they did another 4 issues after that, and they did really, really well as well. and then they did another batch of 4 issues, and this was the next batch of 4 issues. And I remember this comic ad very distinctly because it has Hawk, Beachhead, the Devilfish, and Wetsuit on it, and it was a big issue, and it was one of my favorite stories because it was the Battle of Cobra Island. G.I. Joe and Cobra were trying to either control Cobra Island or destroy Cobra Island, because Cobra Commander and the Crimson Guard's Dr. Ippel created a seismic rift in the Gulf of Mexico, and it created an eruption, and it created all these land masses. And G.I. Joe was trying to prevent Cobra from getting control of that land mass, but they failed. Cobra actually got it, and that was what turned it into Cobra Island. And so it's one of the first times G.I. Joe lost a battle with Cobra, the creation of Cobra Island. And it's one of the best stories. 47 is definitely in my top 10 covers. Oh yeah, it's one of the most significant covers. It really is. Deep Six was my first diver. Oh yeah, he's a cool one. And I'm looking forward to the new Deep Six. Have you seen the sneak preview of him? Devilfish needs to hurry up to classified. Doubt it will be this year. You're right about that. I think, but I think we're getting into water. We're finally getting into water. We're doing the Hydra Vipers. We're doing Deep Six. We've got the shark on the way. We've got the water moccasin on the way. I'm sure we're going to get the undertows for Iron Grenadiers. I'm sure we're getting a HasLab hydrofoil. So all this water is coming. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get the Devilfish, because we need a Joe vehicle to go against the hydrofoil and the water moccasin. The shark, I don't think, is enough to battle all of those. We need another one. We need the Devilfish, and that's one that can be redecoed very easily. There's a lot of redecos of the Devilfish with Tiger Force and other versions as well. Let's see. Sixhead agreed. We definitely need some amphibious vehicles. Yep. I want to see I want to see the night landing. That's the one I really want to see, because you can make a night landing for Joe and Cobra, both a green and a blue for that. And you can have different divers in different decos. You could have that wetsuit diver, or you could have some other version of the eel or Hydra Viper or Undertow with that other one, or something like that. Yes, sir, Steve Martin. I want the Hydra Viper sled as well. Oh, the Hydra sled, Bjorn? Yeah, that would be cool. I think that would be a cool vehicle to include with the Hydra foil as an add-on vehicle. I think like they did with the Bivouac with the Snowcat. I think you could throw that sled in there with the hydrofoil for the eels, and you could create a whole play pattern with them, because that's what the eels use to do the perimeter around Cobra Island in the comics, I believe. Dropping by to hit the like and say, yo, Joe, have a great stream, Dave. Thank you, Same Time Toys. Look forward to seeing you in the future at the Scentflow Joe show. Thank you very much. It was nice to get a surprise yesterday in the Ramp Rats. Seriously had no idea that one was coming, and love building up the Rattler set. There's a little bit of information about that. I'm going to talk about that when I'm finished with it. We got some news bits to cover for you guys in a little while, but we're going to go through Wetsuit first. So Wetsuit was part of the oh, very cool. Thank you very much. Wetsuit was part of the, I believe, the miniseries Arise, Serpentor Arise. He got his first appearance in Sunbow during that miniseries, and he was part of the Joe team that Sergeant Slaughter had to get back into shape, because he felt that they were lax and they were slacking and stuff like that, because Cobra was able to attack them with the Battle Android troopers and so on and so forth. So that's where he first appeared, 610, and with the way these custom creators are going at it, I can just imagine these guys make stands that look like waves crashing against the falls. Yeah, I think that would really be cool. Whoever's doing that, I think that would be a really cool stand. So yeah, I would love that. That would be really cool, Steve Martin. Yep. All right, so then we're going to go into his vintage figure, wetsuit, vintage, and I have most of his gear on this one, so that's a good sign for this one. So we'll put that over there, out of the way. It looks like I have his backpack, which is a really bright sherbet orange there. So we'll put that on him. Oh, first I should show the figure off, right? I forgot to show. So there he is. Oops, I just dropped his backpack. Oh well. So there's wetsuit there. He looks a lot more subdued than the classified from what I can see right off the bat. His colors are a lot more muted in the vintage version of him. Like that. And then he has his little ski, his little vehicle. There. And then I think this is a weapons accessory pack light, underwater light. I think that's a accessory pack version because I don't think it was that color originally. 610. Let me know if that's the weapons pack version of that light. I don't know. I can't recall. I'm terrible when it comes to the accessories. I just don't. I don't have a good knowledge of that. Let me see if I can get his backpack. It fell down here. Oh, there it is. So let's put that back on. See if we can get that to stay on. There. All right, so we got his light, and I got his backpack. It looks like I don't have his fins. I do have his propeller thing, so I can put that on him. There. I don't have his feet things. So there you go. There's your wetsuit. There's no paint scrapes. He looks in good shape. It's very tight. I like the color deco on him, and he has a little tampo on there, a little fish tampo right on his chest there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Yeah, it's very hard to see that tampo there. But that's the vintage wetsuit. Keegan Collins, good morning, Joe Bros. Thank you very much. Good morning to you. 610 Yojo Daddy. I'm sure it's not the original light as it matched the backpack, but never got the weapons pack, so not sure. Okay. Thank you very much. But I do agree with your thought process, unless it's just faded. No, it's not faded. It's a different color, and the weapons packs colors were really weird, odd colors. Like instead of khaki green, you get tan, or if instead of black, you get burgundy, or if you got like a brown, you get like a different beige or something like that. So there's a distinct color difference with the weapons packs versions of stuff. So I'm pretty sure it's a weapons pack version of it. All right, so I'm going to put him over there. So then we're going to get into wetsuit classified. So we have the designations, we have the QR code, and we have the target artwork. And now the QR code, we found out, does go someplace to the website, but it doesn't give a lot of information on the website, but it does go to the website. All right. Or Snowcat sled missiles in Army green, LOL. Yeah, exactly. So his designations are as follows. He's got, I believe, the underwater environment. If I can find it. He's got the underwater environment specialist water. He's got the diver. The diver helmet on there, I believe. He's got the ordnance, I believe. Explosives. That's the explosives. And then he has the another underwater environment. He's got two different water environments and explosives. So that's your wetsuit designations for him. And then we have this piece of artwork on the back by Shooting the Galaxy, Matt and Mike. I use one of those army green sets on one of my childhood snowcats. Looks really good. Cool. So there's that Shooting the Galaxy artwork there, and it has a couple of call outs on the package there. And this is 179 in the classified line. And it there's a big shark back there, and it looks like there's a derelict husk of a ship there and some other fishes. He's just flying and stuff like that. Looks really nice. I think that's some beautiful artwork there. So we are now from 00 Snake Eyes up to 179, and there's the loadout there. It just says wetsuit and the stars and stripes. And then we've done 24 vintage retro package figures, I believe, and we've done 6 legacy and 60th anniversary figures. And so there you go. Now we're going to get into him. Then we have the stars and stripes on the interior. There. So there you go with all of his gear. There's some interesting things with this gear too. We'll go into that in a minute. Excuse the noise of the package. Dave, where do you get the small holders for your vintage figures? Amazon. You're talking about these little clear containers? You can buy them through Amazon. I can't remember the exact thing for it. But yeah, it's Amazon. And a lot of people already have them too. If you buy them from a store or from eBay or whatever, the people already have them sometimes when they ship it to you, or you can buy it with them already. So that a lot of times they're already in them as well. He looks a lot like my little brother, my brother's son. So he looks like my nephew actually. So he's a lot darker. The color is a lot darker than the vintage one. So I was thinking this was more subdued than this, but this is definitely darker than this on that. And the stripes on him are a lot thinner. The vintage one has a much thicker stripe on there. You can see on there that stripe on his arm. And this is much thinner. So there's a couple of differences right there, right off the bat. He has that same tampo, that fish tampo. Let's see if I can get a better closer look for you guys there. Can you see that tampo up there, that fish tampo? So he had that on the vintage one as well. He's got a nice balance here with the white, the dark turquoise, the blacks, the grays, a little bitty touches of red with that that little tampo there. He's got the some pouches and secondaries on his body with this pouch on his right arm, his left arm, and then one on his right arm, and then his secondary has a bunch of those black pouches and stuff like that. Then he's got a gray holster on his right leg and another knife sheath holster on his left leg. And then he has the traditional white center with the stripes that are a little thinner. And the blacks and stuff also balance out throughout the deco of the figure. And his head sculpt is pretty good. I like it a lot. Like I said, it looks like my nephew. Um, it looks pretty good. He's got these little gray watches on his wrists as well, on both sides as well. All right, let's get into some of this gear. The first thing I'm going to get into is his foot gear, because when we saw this, there was a lot of speculation on whether this was going to be another character's foot gear in the future. And we were kind of right, because I think they did use it. They did it a little bit further. They went a little bit further with this his fins for wetsuit for the other character, and that was the Hydra Viper that we thought was coming. And they're a little wider than these are, so they're slightly different. They do look very similar, but they are slightly wider than the ones that we already got from the Hydra Viper to these. These are thinner than the Hydra Viper ones, but they're very cool. There's a lot of detail on them. There's a lot of like scales and little pins and sharp corners and stuff like that. They're very nice, and it's on both sides too. You can see all the scales and stuff on both sides like that. It looks really good. I think they did a good job with that. So I'm going to put those on his feet. Get that out of the way. There. All right, so we got those there. So then we're going to get into his helmet. His helmet is very nice. The vintage one was not removable, so I'm glad that this one is removable, and there's a lot of detail on it. Look at all the detail that's in this. You have the see-through glass. You have those rebreathers. You got that little metal up there with the lights, and there's some teal and that sherbet orange and stuff like that all on this. And there's a lot of detail all the ways around the helmet as well, with the shapes and things like that. It looks really, really nice. They did a good job with that. I've got to admit. And these rebreathers, they move. So you can go up and down with them as well. So that's really cool. So I'm going to put that on his head. There. So it's a little bit loose. So his eyes don't come out regularly. So you have to force it down so it stays. But you can see the eyes through there. You just got to hold it down a little bit. So that's interesting. I would have thought we would have got a little bit more of a thicker kind of snug fit on that, but it doesn't. So he's got a very similar backpack to his vintage backpack. The only difference looks like they added a lot of deco on it with the blacks, with the vents and the tubes and things like that, and this handle on the top that was also on the vintage one. And there's a couple of little plug-in spots there, and there's a couple of plug-in spots in the back as well. So we're going to see how that's going to all work. I'm going to put the backpack on him. Since he doesn't have a secondary, it's going to be fairly easy to get this in here. So the plug-in goes into the that secondary in the back. There's two on either side, one on this side and one on that side, and then there's the back peg as well. So then you take the rebreather pump there, you plug that in there, and you plug that in there, and so you have him ready to go with his backpack and his rebreather and his helmet all hooked up together, and his fins. So there you go. So we're good there. So then we have a gun and we have a knife. So he has a unique gun. I don't think we've seen this gun before. I don't recall it anyway. It looks different. It looks more like a dart gun because it's underwater. You guys let me know if you've seen this gun before. I think this is a new gun. It's like a dart gun, so we can use something to shoot underwater. And he's got a sheath on his right leg, so I'm going to put that into his right leg on that sheath there. Holster, I should say, not sheath, holster. And I want to see if he has that on the vintage one. Yeah, he does. So the vintage one has that gun there as well. So that's good. And then there's a knife on the other side. So those are accurate to the figure that came out in the vintage era. So then he's got this knife. And I think that might be a slightly new kind of a knife. I don't recall that knife. And that's going to go into the holster sheath on the left leg right there. The one in the vintage one was more white. There's definitely more white on the vintage one. There's less white on this one. Dave, can you get the holders in 12 scale bigger size? Yeah, there are bigger size holders you can buy on Amazon for larger 6-inch figures like this figure to put it in a plastic container. Yeah, there are. A friend of mine, he buys them. I know that. And different stores buy them. So I'm pretty sure you can. Keegan. I mean, Clement. Sorry. Classified Wetsuit was definitely the winner in my book of that wave. Great face sculpt, perfect deco colors, and loved accessories. 10 out of 10. Yeah, he's an excellent figure. I've got to admit, you're pretty close. Wetsuit wasn't like on my top 10 or anything like that, but he was always one of the fun characters because the brother aspect, and I had a brother, and the fact that he was a swimming character and I swam a lot. And I came down here when I was young on vacation a bunch of times with my mom and dad, my brothers and sisters and stuff like that. So we did that a lot in the summers in Florida. So he was always one of my favorites in that regard. He never stuck out to me as a really like dynamic character. He's kind of a, I don't know, kind of just a generic type of character. But, you know, like I said before, we all have our different play patterns and we all approach this sort of stuff a little bit different. So there's his light. I put it on his wrist, put the little wrap around his wrist, and I put that on there. So when he's in the water and he's diving, he'll have that there like that. One of the problems I have with a lot of the classified is the articulation for characters that need to have their heads go up further, you know, and certain things like these fins should be able to go a little bit more perpendicular that way more if you're swimming. And the head should be up higher as well. So you see how that figure is? That head should be a little bit further up that way, and the fins should go a little bit further that way. And I don't see that they're doing that. Maybe if I turn them like at an angle, kind of like that, maybe I can get a little bit different bit of a bend. But yeah, there's been 3 or 4 figures that I thought the heads should be like that, like divers and things, and they don't. And I always thought that was a problem with this, these type of characters, because they should be able to do that. They should have that articulation. And so the articulation on this particular figure, he has, let's see, he has the butterflied shoulders, the double pinned elbows, double pinned knees, the foot rockers, the secondary foot articulation, the thigh and calf articulations. He's got the crotch leg and the ab crunch, and he does have the head articulation. He also has the wrist articulation, and it's just the regular wrist articulation, not the swivel wrist articulation or the this part there. But he doesn't look terribly bad swimming. It's just a matter of, you know, I just feel that there should be more of a movement on the head and a little bit on the legs. But I did get them to turn a little bit, so I got a little bit better angle on those. And then he has his little vehicle. that he comes with, similar to the one that he came with on the Vintage. A little bit more modernized, I would say, with this. A little bit more modernized. I'm trying to figure out where he's supposed to hold this. So I'm guessing there's got to be a handle. So he's got to put his arm out like this, and then he has to hold that. So I have to get his arm up first and do this, and then try to hold on to that little vehicle. Hopefully I can get it to work. We'll see. Like that. I'm going to go a little bit lower on it because I don't want the propellers to get in his face. Oh, it came out. Try it again. Let's see. Let's try one more time. All right, I think I got it. So he's got his propeller. He's got that over there. So I would like that head to be able to move up a little bit more. And you can move the helmet because the helmet is a removable helmet, but it doesn't look correct. So you can't really see the eyes there like that. So it's weird. Let's see. Russia SPP-1 underwater gun. Oh, okay. So it is like a dart gun of some sort. I gotcha. Thank you. Connor Provident classified with the head. Night Viper is the same. How's a sniper supposed to shoot laying flat facing the ground? Huge complaint in the line. Do better, Hasbro. Yeah, I think that's a problem. I think they need to do that, but I don't know if the complaints, by the time they got to the complaints, it would take them a couple of years, 18 months to pivot to try to fix something like that. Yes, definitely should have more head articulation. Keegan Collins, thank you. The vehicle's also pegs upside down into the bottom of the backpack for storage. I may have to push super hard to get it in. I had a hard time getting it in it to stay. Oh, I didn't even know that did that. Oh yeah, there's a little bitty plug there. I didn't know that. So that it goes upside down like to energize it. So this is like a battery thing. It just plugs in like that. And then he could fly like that using the backpack. That's interesting. I kind of like that actually. I may do that. Let's see how difficult it is since you mentioned that 610. Let's see how we get that to do that. Yeah, plugged in. Makes that snapping noise. So now that makes sense because now he has like a rocket propelled jetpack on his back. I like that actually. I like that better. It looks really cool like that. He didn't come with, well, I guess he has his gun, so I could put his gun in his hand. He's a very nice figure overall. Now that I can get that accessory on him without it falling off, I like it a lot better. I like him a lot better because of that. And I like the fact that they gave him a little bit of a tan on the skin, on the skin deco. So there's your wetsuit. Pretty cool overall. I like it. Mine never would pop in with the snap, but I got it to stay. Oh, wow. It's just one of those things with the manufacturer. Sometimes things are the durometer of things and the fittings of things don't always work. So if they produce like I don't know, like 100,000 of these or whatever, eventually you're going to have some that aren't going to be 100% on all the fittings and all the durometers going in and stuff like that. I have that problem with some of the stands where they won't stand on the pegs and things like that. But overall, it's an excellent figure. I'm very happy that I got that to plug in like that. It looks pretty good. I think he's a good figure. Bajorn, when you are in salt water a lot, you get a tan quick. Ah, okay, that's pretty cool. I swim quite a lot, and I was a big swimmer, and I was on a swim team when I was in my early teens from like 11, 12, 13, stuff like that. And I did do a lot of swimming. I wish I could swim more. I wish I had more free time to go swimming, but I don't have a pool. So it's a little more tougher if you don't have a pool. All right. So that's wetsuit. Looks really good. Now we need the devilfish. We have all the characters for that cover. Now we need the devilfish. That's right. A friend of mine, Terry, that I do the Toy Talk Live, he did a 3D printed one. I'm going to get one from him to go with these. If we don't get a classified one soon, I'm going to get the 3D printed one. It looks perfect. It matches all the colors and everything like that. And this one's a really nice figure overall with all the color breaks and the design aesthetics and the upgrades. They did do some upgrades with the plugging in of the jetpack on the backpack and different weapons and accessories and the fins being a little bit more urban and more advanced. I could buy a pool for my backyard. You're right. I don't want a kiddie pool though. I want to have a built-in pool because this is Florida, and so we have hurricanes that go through here quite often from June to like November, and there's a lot of wind and stuff. So I wouldn't want it to be blown away. So I would like to do an in-ground pool, and that's expensive, Bajorn. I'll just have to go to Same Time Toys house. Maybe he has a pool. I was on a swim team when I was 11 in Canada. Truly enjoyed it. Another thing we have in common, Dave. Yeah. I was pretty proficient in swimming, and I did very well. I got a lot of ribbons, and our teams got a lot of rewards and stuff like that. And I did that in Salem, New Hampshire. I was on the swim team there, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I really wish I had a pool in my retirement that I could do a lot more. My brother has a pool, but I don't want to drive 45 minutes to his house all the time. If he was like down the block, I would go over there more often. But yeah, that's cool that we have that. We got a lot in common, 610 Yojo Daddy. There's a little bit of news. First off, so it's being confirmed now that the 250th anniversary Duke is going to also be going up on pre-order on March 19th, the same day as the Walmart exclusive Dire Tech Night Creeper. Both of those figures are from Walmart. They'll be going up at 10 a.m. On Walmart's website, and then 9 a.m. on Walmart on Pulse for Pulse Stream members early, an hour early. So limited quantities on both of those on Hasbro Pulse, and then both of them exclusive to Walmart at 10 a.m. On the 19th of March. So make sure you mark your calendars and you get in there if you're interested in either of those pre-orders. I'm going to be getting both of them, of course. So then we got a little sneaky reveal that just dropped out of thin air. Somebody in Asia was selling a version of this. And it was the ketchup and mustard ramp rats. So I'm gonna show you guys something real quick if I can get it without too much fuss. Where is it? I think it's this right there. There. So when they did the Sky Striker HasLab like 5 or 6 years ago, they had a tier that had ramp rats for GI Joe, and this ramp rat came with Cobra Commander and the Trooper. I believe the Cobra Trooper and the Cobra Commander. And so they did the Cobra Ramp Rat. We never made the tiers for the Joe Ramp Rats, Ketchup and Mustard. So they did the Rattler last year as the HasLab, and we got it sometime around July, August. And there was a what's the right word to say it? A leaked listing that we never got, that was on the leaked listings last year, and it was never fulfilled, that leaked listing. I suspect that leak listing that never was fulfilled last year to go along with your Rattler was probably the Ramp Rats 2-pack with Ketchup and Mustard that was revealed yesterday, because something must have delayed it. I don't know, but that's my speculation. I don't have any facts to back that up, but there was a leak listing that never came to fruition last year on that list. And I think it was probably the 2-pack of the Ramp Rats for the Cobra, because the artwork matches the HasLab, the Cobra Rattler artwork, and the back of the package matches the blueprints and that schematics on the HasLab Rattler as well. So it all matches. It's not your typical Shooting the Galaxy artwork, or it's not the Scott Johnston artwork that's on the side of the package. It was a completely different art that matches the HasLab Rattler, all the artwork that goes around it and stuff like that. So I believe that was a late item that for some reason they couldn't get it out last year, and they moved it to this year. And we've been seeing that where things have been moving around last year. 3 or 4 of the waves last year were moved around. The Major Blood wave, there was differences there. Sci-Fi was originally in that wave. Night Viper was supposed to be in the wave after that. He wasn't in that wave. Sci-Fi was. And then they did the next wave that was the first wave of this year. Night Viper appeared in that wave. Then there's supposed to be a Flash that was supposed to be in somewhere in there, and we still haven't gotten the Flash. So, and now we've gotten word that probably the Water Moccasin won't be until next year. So that's been delayed. So there's a lot of shuffling going around at Hasbro with a lot of this stuff. And so I think that's what happened with the Ramp Rats. They were originally going to be out last year, and they got pushed. And so we're getting them this year. So that's cool, because I really like the Ramp Rats, and I thought that was a good idea, and I want to get the Joe Ramp Rats someday, and I hope we do get the Joe ones at some point. Let's see. You get the best bod when you're a swimmer. That's very true, Bajorn, because it is you use your whole body, and it's a very high cardiovascular exercise, because everything you're using, and you're in weightlessness, and it's cool. So you can do a lot more exercise in water than you would out of water, and put a lot less stress on your body in water. So I think it's excellent. You get a better body. That's true. Keegan, watching Super Dave showcase a figure always pumps me up about getting one. I wasn't planning on getting. Oh man, but that's the whole idea of this. So you just proved my point for doing these videos, Keegan Collins, because that's why we do this, to showcase the vintage versus the classified, give the history, a deep dive into the character, give a little bit more insights into things that you might not have known when this stuff was initially coming out for classified, and you can get a little bit of history there with the character and the figure and the release and stuff like that, the behind the scenes of it all. So you kind of proved me out on that whole idea, my thought process. So thank you very much. Gunpowder Nitro, I need that Duke America. Unzus. Yeah, I want to get it as well. 9 a.m. for Central. No, 9 a.m. Eastern. All this is 9 a.m. Eastern, Keegan Collins. So it'll be March 19th, 10 a.m. Eastern, and then 9 a.m. Eastern Pulse Premium members. So if that is 9 a.m. Eastern, it'll be 10, 11, 12 on Pacific time, and Central would be 10. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Hell yeah, Gunpowder usual. Yep. Do stuff. Walmart Con on the 19th and 20th has Motu releases too. Oh, that's interesting. They do? I didn't know that. Morning, Super Dave and chat. Hey, HK Viper, thanks for joining us. Good morning. Let's see. They sold more than 18,000. They must have had 20,000 made, but they never gave us ketchup and mustard figures. They sold the amount, just not all in one shot. Okay. 66 Delta 17. I sure hope they give us more O-ring figures from Hasbro 3 3/4. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think we're going to have to be focused with Super 7's Reaction Plus. I'm not sure if Hasbro's got anything else planned, but don't hold me to that, because we could get another collab. We could get another Skybound O-ring set like we did with the Jetfire San Diego Comic-Con set. So don't hold me to that. There may be other O-rings in the G.I. Joe plans, but I don't know what they are. But I would focus mainly on Super 7 and help them out and support that line if I were you. G.I. Joe 667 Delta 17. Just gonna say, as a classified fan, I am really excited about the St. Patrick's Day. That's all I can say. Oh wow, St. Patrick's Day. Is it gonna be are you gonna have some Lucky Charms? Me and my Lucky Charms on St. Patrick's Day, the 17th of March. You guys should keep an eye out for that. Whenever 610 gives us some hints, that means there's something going on. I can't say much more than that either. But there you go. 610 Buzzborg confirmed. No, I'm thinking who's an Irish character? Maybe a redeco of Barbecue. That's it. We're gonna get a new retro version of Barbecue with his helmet coming off. Is that what it is? St. Patrick's Day, Gunpowder? Steve Martin, it wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me. I did win my Retro Zartan ePay. Cost $111. Wow, Gunpowder Nitro. I'm glad that you got it. I'm not too happy that it was that much, but I'm glad that you got what you wanted. So you're almost there. You only got what, 1 or 2 more to go? Yo, Joe. Lenny Honda, thank you very much. Congratulations on your pickup. Yeah, definitely congratulations on that. For Central Times on the 19th, it will be 8 a.m. for Pulse Premium and 9 a.m. for anyone else Eastern, an hour ahead. Oh, that's right. Okay. Getting one with knee pads isn't easy nowadays. Oh, man. Funny. I thought Blowtorch was Irish. Well, yeah, you're right. Blowtorch is Irish. And I think Barbecue's from Boston. So he's kind of got that Boston Irish accent. So either one of them you could do. I would like to get redecos of both of those in retro, actually, and have Barbecue's head helmet come off, and then Blowtorch more accurate to the vintage, a little brighter. So both of those would be nice St. Patty's figures for me. Bobby World. Okay. Congrats, Gunpowder Nitro. Bobby World. Hey, super. Hey, 610 Yojo Daddy, saying hello. Just Snake Eyes. All I need that was cheap for the Zartan. He usually selling around 150. Wow. So you're just down to Snake Eyes now. So you're almost done. Have you tried looking overseas for Snake Eyes, like I suggested? Because there are toy stores over in other countries that do have that Snake Eyes. It may take a little while for you to get it, but there are places overseas that do have it. That's where I got mine. Um, yeah, gunpowder. Those two are pricey now for sure. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I got all mine fairly easy through Walmart when I ordered them, but maybe I should have ordered more. I didn't order as many of those as I did the other ones, like the Crimson Guard and the other, the Recondo and the Duke and the Scarlet and all that type of stuff. The later ones I ordered more of. I just didn't think that the Snake Eyes or the Storm Shadow or the Zartan were going to be that popular, because that was the third Zartan and that was the like fifth Storm Shadow. So fourth or fifth Storm Shadow at that point. So I didn't think they were going to be that popular, but apparently they were because of the scarcity of it. And sometimes that does make a difference. I secured a Ninja Force Zartan pre-sale for a small fortune on eBay. Whoa. Keegan Collins. I'll just wait till I get it. I've already got a notification from Target. So they're shipping those in a little while. So, it's not that big of a deal to wait sometimes. I'm not that big because we did this. We've been doing these videos way after everybody else. We were when we started, we were 5 years behind. We're about a year behind now, but I'm not in a rush to get the stuff. Whenever I get it, I'll do a review and that's it. The guys that want to do it early to get those clicks and get those likes and get those subscribers and stuff like that to get their analytics up, that's perfectly fine for those people. But I'm not one of those people. I don't do that for that reason. I don't do this for that reason. You guys know the reason why I'm doing this is to save space. And it's fun and it's cool. And I get to talk with you guys more often. So that's why I'm doing it. We don't know where that's going to pop up, what the number is on the Ramp Rats. I do like it. It comes with this really cool crate. And I do remember last year, 610, you can confirm this or not. Last year, one of the interviews that Lenny and them did, they said they have a sort of play set or a sort of environmental thing that they were going to be doing next year. That's now this year. This must be it. This must be that environmental playset type of thing that they were talking about. They were alluding to, because it comes with the crate. You can open the crate up and you can put weapons in there. And there's a tow cable and there's a lot of gear, a lot of accessories and stuff. And it comes with 2 figures, ketchup and mustard versions of these guys that are the airfield technicians and stuff like that. So you can let me know if you remember that interview and if I'm remembering that wrong or not. 610 Yojo Daddy. Keegan, unfortunately, I think those will be readily available at Target later, Keegan. Hope it wasn't too much. Yep. I agree with you on that one, 610. You do it for the love of toys, Dave. That's why you're here. Yep, that's 100%, Lenny Honda. You hit it right on the head. And that's why you are as well. Yep, and that's what I love about this community. You guys are really cool about that. Yep. So I would like to get a Joe version of that crate. And I think it makes more sense to be in silver or some sort of a grayish, because when you look at a lot of the movies, the spy movies and the different action movies, they always have those crates and they're always in silver. They're not in blue or green. So I think if they do a Joe version of that, it should be in silver and gray. That's just my gut feeling on what it should look like. I don't think it should be green. Maybe down the road do a green one or something like that for a desert or something like that. You can do other color variations of those crates. I'm curious if there's going to be trays inside that you can lift up and you can put the weapons like they have in those spy movies as well, when they bring out the crates and there's like layers and they pull it out and there's like layers of weapons. I hope they have that in there, because that really would play up the idea of this kind of weapons, like transfers of weapons dealers and Destro's arms dealing and stuff like that. I think that would kind of give a little bit more in that theme and that idea. Probably so, Dave. Crate is also compatible with the modular fortification. Yeah, I saw it has the links on it and stuff like that. And it looks like there's like little panels that come off the sides. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. I would like to see a video, a pulse stream video, where they go into that and show what it has in there, what it can do, because there's a lot on that in the photography, and it looks like it can do a lot of other things than we've seen. So I'm curious about that. And I like that type of stuff. I like those environmental type things, because the people that are doing the photography and doing the dioramas and stuff, it really gives that more realism to this brand. It gives you some imagination. And I think they needed to do something with the Rattler. And they had did that with the Dragonfly with a lot of figures and accessories. They did it with the Hiss tank, so it made sense that there would have been something for the Rattler as well. And so this is perfectly understandable, but I can see that it might have been one of those that leak listing that was never came out last year, and now they moved it to this year. So it's interesting. Keegan Collins, it's all good. Ninja Force is my jam. O-Ring Ninja Force spring action was so unplayable and disappointing. I'm just exhilarated about them finally in their glory and classified. Oh yeah, that's the cool thing about the Ninja Force classified, because a lot of those like chops and twists and kicks, they didn't work very well. They were trying to copy superpowers, and they didn't work, and they had stiff waists and stuff like that. So I'm glad we're getting them in classified, and they're classifying them up and giving some new details and adding some cool things to them. And so I agree with you, Keegan Collins, on that. So let's see what else is going on. We have our next. I kind of did the videos out of order, so I'm going to do our next video will be an unproduced concept video. We're still going to do that comic book burst probably this evening. I'll be doing the comic book burst. We'll do the unproduced concepts episode tomorrow. Then we have a mask episode coming up. Then we have a tribute episode as well coming up. So we've got a lot of episodes coming up over the next few days. So keep an eye on all that on your socials. And then we also have unproduced the Senflow Joe show, where what's today, like the 12th or 13th? I can't remember what today is. We're about a month and a week away from the Senflow Joe show. Mark Pennington is our primary guest. He was designer on G.I. Joe, Real American Hero in the vintage era from 87 to 89. He's also a comic book artist. He worked at CrossGen, and he's a designer and artist in his own right, and he does a lot of shows with that. And you can get sketches and talk to him about the history of G.I. Joe and his time at the brand, on the brand. And so he's a very nice guy. I think you'll enjoy talking to him and getting sketches and stuff like that. Yeah, I can't see the number for the Ramp Rats on any of the package shots, but I will text our mutual friend and ask if he knows and get back to you. Thank you very much, 610 Yojo Daddy. Appreciate it. 12th today. Today's the 12th. So we've got about a month and a half till the show. Hasbro tried to come out with an O-Ring campaign, but no one cares about Tron for that super high price for $250 HasLab. It should have been $125 for 5 figures with those wrap bikes and stand. Yeah, I don't know. Because of the plastic, because of the oil, because of the shipping, and everything's gone up. I pre-ordered that. It was canceled, but I wanted it because I love Tron. It was a difficult purchase. Yes, I wanted it for a little cheaper, but it is what it is. We didn't get it, so I don't know how that's going to work for the future of that new initiative. That was their first try on that initiative, that 3 3/4 initiative. But we'll just have to wait and see. 66 Delta 17 again. But so yeah. Then we have Adam Riches, comic book artist, also package designer on Classified and on Super 7. He did the, I don't know, yeah, you can kind of see the Sergeant Slaughter package over there to the very right. I had him sign that package. Then we have Matt LaCroix, and he's a designer of Strike Force Alpha toy line, and he did the Fumbles figure at Joe Fest last year, and we have an exclusive figure with Bruce Lee that is an O-ring exclusive figure that will only be at the Send Flow Joe show while supplies last. First come, first serve on that item. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Matt LaCroix on I am him on Facebook Messenger. All right. Nothing has gone up in Vietnam. Labor is dirt cheap. 20 American is 4,000 a month's wage for just one worker in third world. Whoa. Wow. Our bud said it looks like 205, but it's not clear. All right. 205 it is. We know there are two numbers that are I think 93 and 94 that we haven't gotten any items for 93 and 94. Is it possible that that could be one of those numbers, 610 Yo Joe Daddy? Because we know what 95 through 200 is. We know what 201 and 202 is. So is it possible that 94 and 93 could be one of those? Or do you think it's Zanya and the Mercer and Taurus Red Dog 2-pack? That might be 93 and 94. I don't know. Lady Virgo, cool. Yo, Joe. Good morning, beautiful people. Hey, Lady Virgo. Cool. You came towards the very end today, but thank you very much anyways. Picked up a Slaughter triple teacup transformer for 30 last night, and second frag drive for 10 as well. Wow, you got a lot of good stuff. I love that triple T set. That's a fantastic set, and it comes with two figures, Sergeant Slaughter and Leatherneck. I hope that they all the future vehicle collabs come with two figures, but that's what I'm talking about. 66 Delta 17. They're still doing figures of O-ring in this line. It's just they're just weird things for now. I bet they will use all oil prices to raise prices higher when we had high oil prices in the past, and they never raised prices. You never know. It's a possibility. So then that's Matt LaCroix. So then we have Jason Mark Sobel, comic book cover artist and designer. Then we have Roger Taft, is the author of After Action Report. He did 7 or 8 different guides about the comics, about different characters, history of characters, and the G.I. Joe brand. You can get those signed by him and pick up those volumes at the show at his booth. And then Hawk Saunders, who has done a lot of G.I. Joe comics in Rising Sun, for Rising Sun Comics and Publishing, with Cobra the Enemy, Action Force Redux, and a new initiative with Adventure Team that is coming out later this year. Will be kickstarting in September, and you'll get all the information on that Kickstarter at the Send Flow Joe show as well. You can talk to Hawk Saunders on that. And then we have the costuming organization, G.I. Joe Finest, will also be there, so you can wear your G.I. Joe favorite costumes, come out, hang out, take pictures, and have a good time with your fellow Joe Bros. And then there's plenty of vintage toys: G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Masks, Thundercats, Silverhawks, Centurions, Masters of the Universe, Motu, you name it, and comic books as well. So if you're missing some G.I. Joe comics or some cool comics that you're trying to fill in your numbers of your collection, there'll be some other vendors as well, different other vendors. So if you're in the southern Georgia, southern Alabama, anywhere in Florida, and you want to come on vacation, spring break, have a wonderful time, then come to a G.I. Joe experience, come Sunday the 19th in Deltona, Florida, the center at Deltona. Again, I look forward to seeing all of you. Joe Fest will have a booth. You can talk to Ed Schumacher about that. Joe Fest 2026 is the 26th through the 28th, and we have a lot going on with Joe Fest. There's a lot of new guests that have been announced. Speaking of barbecue, he's been announced as one of our guests. So you can meet him and get an autograph, a G.I. Joe autograph from him. So he's going to be at the show. There's going to be a lot of writers, a lot of creators, a lot of people we've never had to Joe Fest. And I highly recommend you get something signed by Larry Hama and meet Sergeant Slaughter and get something signed, because both of those guys are getting up there. They're long in the tooth, and they may not be here for very much longer. So if you have the opportunity, take that chance, come to Joe Fest. And then I will have a booth at the show, Senflo Joe show as well. You can buy some of my duplicates and quadruples and triples and talk to me and hang out with me and get a picture with me and so on and so forth. So that's everything with the Senflo Joe show. Keegan Collins got to run, guys. Yo, Joe. Yep. G.I. Joe 66 Delta 17. Hasbro should make 3 3/4 Army Builders figures packs again. Yeah, I think that would actually be cool. Take care, Keegan. What 3 classified figures you want to see coming out, and what 3 O-ring figures should Hasbro make? Well, the O-ring, I don't know what they're going to do with the O-ring, but I would like them to do some stuff from Void Rivals, stuff from Transformers, stuff from G.I. Joe that never got an O-ring. Like if they did the Energon Universe stuff, and they did the Good Baroness, they did Risk, they did I'm trying to think of that girl's name. I can never remember that girl's name with the blonde hair in the Energon Universe 610. Yo, Joe Daddy, what is that lady's name? She's a cool character. O-ring of all 3 of those. Maybe a Rugged Duke O-ring. Maybe a collab with Hound as a Jeep with clutch that transforms as a vehicle, and do that as O-ring, that clutch, and then do a larger Mercer and stuff like that. I think those will all be awesome O-rings. I would also like to see some of the humans in the Transformers series as O-rings. I would also like to see more of the aliens and maybe Pythona in a different version in O-ring form from Void Rivals and some of the guards, because she never got an O-ring from Hasbro ever in the history of the G.I. Joe brand from the 87 to now. She's never got a Hasbro release as an O-ring figure. Yes, Super 7 did her, but it's based on the animated series. So we could do a much more realistic version based on the comic of Pythona. So those would all be O-rings that I would love to see in from Hasbro if they did it. And classified figures that I would like to see, Cesspool is my #1 figure that I would like to see as a classified figure. And I would like to get zombies, and I would like to get some Globulus. Globulus super out with the pod, with the tail, with all the accessories, with all the bells and whistles. Cesspool with all the bells and whistles, cool equipment and everything like that, and a zombies, all the bells and whistles and gores and heads and different arms and all the stuff that you can make zombies. So those are my 3 classified, and all the O-rings that I would like to see. Let's see. What about Dr. Venom? They did Dr. Venom already. What about 610 Chameleon? There you go. An O-ring version of Chameleon from the Energon Universe. That would be a new O-ring. Or Hotwire, the Bats mechanic. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of Joes in Larry's series that need O-rings. Like there was the guy that was in the Battle Force 2000 that got killed off. He was in 2-ish. He never got an O-ring. We need. Well, we got Big Lob now. The Super 7 one is sufficient now. The one that they did as a club in 2010, that was terrible. Based on the Mercer mold, that was a terrible figure. So I'm glad we got the Super 7 one. But there's Malto, there's Don Moreno, there's the new RC and long range guys. There's a bunch of characters in Larry's that should fit as O-ring characters that he's been making. Sherlock, all of those. So there's a lot. Clutch with the skid mark with Hound that transformed into Desert Fox. Oh boy, I don't know about that one. Cesspool is a great figure. Oh yes. Bajorn. I would love to see a Captain Min in O-Ring. Yeah, I would love to see Captain Min too, because he was a character that Larry Hama sent me a letter in the mail when I was a teenager about Captain Min. I asked him about that character. I said, hey, who's this guy that's sneaking up on the Joes and the Cobras on Cobra Island? He's got all these passages he dug and he was hiding and stuff like that. And Larry sent me a letter in the mail saying, hi, David, that's Captain Min, but please don't tell anybody because it's a secret. He's hiding and stuff. And then Larry told who it was in like 4 or 5 issues later. And then like 100 Captain Min got killed off by Larry Hama in the comics in the freighter, which I was very upset about. The problem with 3 3/4 Energon is that the San Diego Comic-Con set didn't sell well at all. I think we would have gotten more before now if it hadn't failed to sell. Hasbro's doing Joe 3 3/4 is probably not going to happen. That's a good view of it of 610 Yojo Daddy. I'm hoping I hope we do get more because I do want more O-Ring. I do, because that was my love when I was a child and got me into this brand. And so I do hope we get more. And that's why I'm really backing Super 7 and really trying to support them as much as possible. And I order those figures immediately whenever they come up for pre-order so I can get them. And that's why I got mine so quickly. But the Super 7 could do it since they have rights to do 3 3/4 comic cartoon figures. That's a good take as well, 610. So O-Ring is one of those things that's a mixed bag. It's up in the air. It's all over the place. We're just going to have to be patient. We're going to have to wait and see how that all plays out. But for now, I hope we get some cool stuff. I'm optimistic and on the future of O-Ring with Super 7. I know they're trying to do some odd thing later in the fall that Brian told me on one of my interviews, the one that I did last November. I'm trying to get another interview with Brian Flynn before Joe Fest so we can get a little bit inside hints as to what the Joe Fest O-Rings are going to be. He's got 3 exclusives for Joe Fest that are going to be coming, and he already confirmed those on my episode and several other episodes on other people's channels as well. So there's going to be 3 more O-Rings coming. I don't know what they are, though. Then we also have the 4 Walmart 250th anniversary figures as well. And then we have the comic sets that they're going to do. The first one is a redeco of Cobra Commander with issue 1. And so there's a lot of O-Ring coming, 66 Delta 17. So hang in there, support Super 7, and just be patient, okay? Let's see. I collect classified, but O-Ring is my jam. Childhood nostalgia. Yep, definitely, Bajorn. I'm right there with you on that. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed my wetsuit review. Our next classified review is a brand new animal and pet, a figure and pet companion set that is going to be off the charts. It's going to be really, really cool. The next 3 classified reviews are all 3 going to be off the charts, and I think you guys are going to love them. And I'm looking forward to getting to those. They'll be probably next week. We'll be getting to those. I'm worried we will never get the Optimus Momad to round out the Joe Transformers. They are the only 3 3/4 I do anymore, with the exception of the Reaction Plus Fatal Fluffies. Oh, okay. Well, that's a thing, though, because we don't know. That was reported quite a while ago. The collab with Hawk, right? It's weird that we're going to have Bumblebee and we're going to have Cup, but we're not going to have Optimus Prime, and we're going to have Megatron and Soundwave. You know, I think they really need to do that Mobat. I really think they need to. It doesn't fit right with me the way that it plays out. Cup and Bumblebee against Megatron and Soundwave, it doesn't work. They need Optimus Prime. And I would almost like to get a Decepticon. I would like to get maybe a Starscream that turns into a Conquest, or maybe one of the later jets from the 90s. Starscream turns into one of them. Because I think you need to have it even. I'm obsessive compulsive, and I don't like this odds. And it's 2 and 2 right now, 2 Autobots and 2 Decepticons. But you got to have Optimus Prime to go up against Megatron. You got to. It just doesn't make sense. And you need another third character, because then the Autobots will be maneuver the Decepticons. So you need another Decepticon, some maybe oddball Decepticon, if not Starscream. Maybe, I don't know, who's a good Decepticon that would fit? Astrotrain. You can make I don't know who would be a cool Astrotrain. Let's see, or you could do not Astrotrain. Who's the other guy that's a tank and a jet? I can't think of his name. He might be a good one. Instead of Starscream, do the other guy that's a jet and a tank, and have him transform from a jet into the tank, and then the Transformer guy. That makes sense. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Maybe he would make a good Decepticon. But I agree with you, 610 Yojo Daddy. I want that Optimus Prime Mobat, and I think we need to get another Decepticon. Nice. Delta 17. They should sell 3 Fatal Fluffies in a pack, LOL, and sell more of the larger ones since Super 7 sold out. Yeah, that's actually a good hot take on that. They should do more of a troop builder on that and give the little bitty ones, right? Starscream to Cobra Hurricane. Starscream to Cobra Hurricane. There you go. That's perfect, because that's a smaller jet. And I think it's more in line with all the ones that we've gotten with the Hiss, the Thunder Machine, the Triple T, the Striker, and possibly the Mobat. They all kind of fit the same size scale. I think that's perfect. A Bajorn. I like that. That's a good hot take. I need Optimus Prime and Starscream, please. Yeah, I know. I do too. Blitzwing. That's it. Do a Blitzwing and have him change from a tank to a jet as the vehicle, and then also do the Transformer, and then he'd be 2 different vehicles, a jet and a tank. Oh man, that'd be so crazy, wouldn't it? Blitzwing. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Steve Martin, thank you very much for that. All right, so we're pretty much at the end of this. This is a really big Joe video with Wetsuit, so we're gonna go with Yo Joe. Thank you guys. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I appreciate everybody after the fact. Helps that algorithm when you share these videos. Hit the notification, subscribe, click that like button, and do all those things to help me with the algorithm on the after the replay crew and in the chat. See you guys next time. Take care.